All of our fun, all our dedication, everything will last for Kinfinity. Everyone, Kinfinity here, and here's my review of The Great Debaters, directed by Denzel Washington. It is starring Denzel Washington, Nate Parker, Jernee Smollett, Denzel Whitaker, Jermaine Williams, Forrest Whitaker, Daryl Forrest Whitaker, Gina Ravara, John Hurd, Kimberly Elise, Devin A. Tyler, Trenton McLean Boyd, Richie Montgomery, Jackson Walker, Tim Parati, and Robert X. Goldfin. In 1935 Texas, Henry Lowe couldn't get any lower being at this bar. He is talking to this sweetheart who needs to get everything turned around too. She does also. Yes, so they both don't need to be here. Especially with how deep and down these bars were back then. Especially. So this unbelievable man taps him on the shoulder. Who's this? Oh, he's my husband. Boom! He cannot be here. So he sees Melvin B. Tolson, the most needed bystander, because just a little bit later, Henry is actually in Melvin's class at this university. Unbelievable. Especially since he had the perfect answer to the professor's question and gave a perfect rundown of this quote because Professor Tolson wants you, Johnny, tell me who wrote this American classic. Because the realms of truth could only be found in these four walls. Go. So who wrote this? Yes. And Henry, stay up. Henry knows who wrote this. Yes. So come on. It's too smart, literally. And never too far of a bus ride for Samantha Book. Yes, here's all of the information. To now be in class too, because she travels to Texas. And it's awesome for James Farmer Jr. to be in this class while he tells his pastor father, Dr. James Farmer Sr., everything that he knows is true. Yes, especially since they all get it from the Lord first. And everything that, he keeps from the class too. Of course. Along with Pearl Farmer being his beautiful mother. Yes, Junior's mother, everything. So, Professor Tolson gives to Henry, Samantha, and to James Jr. Yes, he gives unto all of them, the need to stand up for what they believe in. And deep hosting for the debate team. They joined the debate team since they made it past the tryouts. So, since they all were strong enough in the arguments that they gave, because there's quite a few more. Because Mr. Adams, no, what do you feel? Now, how do you think this needs to be changed? Well, definitely could improve on the final structuring. My grandfather actually said this. Your argument was almost sound enough, but you shouldn't have mentioned your grandfather. So Professor Tolson, he chooses the only debaters, the great debaters, because they had the best arguments. They only debated what needed to be debated. Henry, Samantha, James Jr., are getting stronger and stronger now that they're staying on the debate team. And in the class, this unbelievable student, I will call him Derek, but his name was not Derek in the film. Call him Derek. He wants to know, what do you have to debate about? Yeah, what is your story? Okay, Professor Tolson. Definitely back in 1920, a young man saw his father, the worst kind of drunk. Only give couple word answer to his wife and kids before he leaves out again. It's found out by the local police. So from Professor Tolson's experience, from what he's been through, their jaws are forever open. And this cannot happen to anyone ever again. Especially since James and Samantha are the best of friends. But Henry is a little bit closer in the romantic respect that James is always getting closer, the finally presenting with the big band. Because they're at this big dance at the university. James finally does, everything that can't be debated on. So he finally steps up, comes to Samantha, and Henry finally gets what he needs. Because he starts to stumble in, too, to the house that they're staying. Because they get an invitation to finally go to Washington. Because they've been winning all these different debates around town, amazing, in Texas. Which is definitely amazing that they're finally, getting this opportunity to speak, to make a difference. First here in Texas. Because Dr. Reverend James Farmer has a terrible interaction with some local farmers because of literally their differences. So, Junior doesn't want what the Reverend had to do to happen to anyone else, because the Reverend literally had to go talk to these men, these Caucasian farmers, about leaving his car here and how he needed to make amends for the accident that happened between their cars and everything. By leaving nothing behind. Yes, Reverend Farmer had to, just give whatever he could. He had to do whatever he can so that him and his family can be safe. Yes, so Junior is right on top of justice because he doesn't want anyone else to have to do this, what his father did, in order for his family to be safe because of this nasty car wreck. Yes, so they get an invitation to Washington, which couldn't have come at a better time because all the way from the sheriff's office. Here's Sheriff Dozer. Some terrible reports going on around town. And it's even more why Professor Tolson has to, literally dress down and be like a Texas farmer. So he dresses like a Texas farmer so that he can literally talk to all the Texas farmers and so that they can get what they rightly need. Yeah, so they all go up to the sheriff so that laws can change, the farmers can get what they need. It is perfect for you to see how they get what they need finally. Professor Tolson talks to Reverend Farmer. And, they have great back and forth. Especially that you're keeping my son safe. You're keeping Junior safe. And you're not comparing yourself to God now. Because Professor Tolson brings up some classic writings, some classic observations. But you're right underneath God. You're always underneath God. You're always following the master. Yes, yes. So now they get the opportunity to debate in Washington. And it's so close because you got to see the final representation of who won the debate. It is such a rich and deep exploration of what these, African Americans, what these Texans had to do, not just the African Americans, but all the way from these farmers, working with Professor Tolson, all of these, lower class, Texas citizens, what they all had to do to step up to the sheriff and step up to the law. You do have to step up to it for justice to finally be, the best victory of having this justice. So you see how, with Professor Tolson's help, Henry especially is able to reform, and all of the Texas farmers are able to get what they truly need. And Junior gets more of a voice too. And of course, Miss Book, a strong woman, the only woman on the debate team, is able to stand up for what she wants to say too. So it is amazing, of course. I would have liked a little bit more of, the debaters getting stronger in their debates and, getting even, deeper into Professor Tolson and making him crack for him to become even stronger too. He doesn't have all the bulletproof arguments, so making him stronger by, giving him the hard-hitting questions, while they are also finally becoming the only needed debaters from the university, because they're so strong. They're the only ones. So how they're becoming stronger debaters, and how Professor Tolson is being challenged, and how the farmers that he's helping are being challenged, so they can all rise up and they can all get the justice that they deserve over here in Texas. And with them going to Washington so they can be even more recognized, coming from Texas and from the adversity, they're able to, get this true justice and everything. So please check it out. Please like, subscribe. Please hit the notification bell, so you know when all new videos come out, as always. And it's just, it's perfectly built up, and it's just so understandable how everyone, gets their voice strengthened, gets their voice heard. So please check it out. And you see, Reverend Farmer too, where he's coming from. Because Reverend Farmer, he has to, adhere to how the laws are, to how, it is being an African American. So you see Reverend Farmer's side of just doing what you have to do to survive. But, how Junior and the great debaters, how they want to change that, make things better for all of them. So you got to see on both sides now. And you're all following God. We're always following God. So please check it all out. Of course, it'll last for Kenfinity. And these videos will last for Kenfinity too.